Looking around my classroom, I saw dull but receptive students, passive but compliant, doing work but disconnected from the learning. It bothered me that my elective film students also struggle to stay on task and work with accountability and engagement. So one day I asked the big, hairy, audacious question, why choose this course if you are not interested in the work? It was a floodgate moment that started me on my reading quest and set the tone for my action research. My students loved film. They made films in their spare time. They spent hours watching films and YouTube video clips made by others about film in order to improve their film skills. Books and homework in the classroom to them seemed superfluous in the face of their engagement in the medium outside of school. How could I tap into this and build a rigour that the students needed to extend and refine their filmmaking and storytelling skills while also building accountability and engagement that would impact on their learning outcomes? My reading was wide, but I found much in common that supported what the students were doing but was missing from my classroom. Xenos, Siemens, Wenger and Mays and De Freitas all suggested that knowledge constructed through collaborative work, knowledge constructed in network communities, and peer-to-peer learning was powerfully facilitated by the advent of new social working tools that changed the way people connect, create and thus learned. Downes, an exponent of the emerging theory of connectivism, stated that knowledge was literally a set of connections because he believed that effective network enabled people to learn more as long as there was autonomy, diversity, openness and connectivity for participants. I think I already knew this about social networking, but the impact of these technologies on how we learn became apparent as part of the disconnect I saw in my classroom. Film students use a lot of technology, but it was not the basis for how their lessons evolved. The literature review exposed me to the emerging theories on the nature of these tools in the learning process. My challenge was to engage with pedagogical strategies that better utilised the digital resources I was able to access in the classroom and better accommodate this new generation of students raised and learning independently with this technology already. Sander highlighted that action research empowered teachers to resolve educational problems for themselves because they and students were identified as the central stakeholders in the process. The big hairy question that I asked my students also put the students and I together in the same journey of discovery. Seaman proposed that learner-centred approach to education because he believed that knowledge rested in the diversity of opinion. He believed that the access to the internet created that diversity through information-rich, complex social connections. Wenger suggested a social discipline of learning because learning happened in the relationship between the person and the world. Both Wenger and Downes put forward ideas that resonated strongly with how I wanted the classroom to be. I began to search for a way that would pull together the learning and the resources the students already had access to in a way that the parents and the school would find safe and productive, and that students would still want to connect with. Beetham, Sharp, Cook, Siemens and Wenger all suggested that through participation in blogs, wikis and social networking, students could become part of an informal learning network because these collaborative technologies captured the dialogue, exposed the cognitive processes and motivated productive outcomes for learning. Vo Elkiel explored computers as a tool for engagement and immediate feedback. He discovered that only when students were guided toward meaningful interaction with computers was learning improved. So, the action research project I will be developing needs to be an interactive learning management system that provides a digital space for students to aggregate their work from various platforms into a common site. I hope to develop the space as a learning portal that creates direct access to spaces they already engage with beyond the classroom. The literature review has helped me to establish that it is not about the technology itself, because just providing technology to students or to teachers didn't make a difference in learning outcomes. No technology would fix undeveloped educational philosophy or compensate for inadequate classroom practice. It was clear to me that students require different pedagogy in order to develop skills for problem solving, self-regulated learning and collaboration. Ruth recommended a shift from the chalk face to the screen face as a metaphor for teaching and learning in a digital environment. My reading has helped me to understand that if I was going to engage my film class and connect to their world of learning, then connectivity, collaboration and choice would be important, as would clear structure for social interaction through a screen interface if real connections were to be made. I look forward to testing this idea and sharing my results with you in the future. Maybe we can connect too.